MeMonster.
Chapter 146. I opened my eyes. The gray sky filled my vision. It was a familiar sight, the dormitory waiting room. I blinked. All my injuries were gone. Bones that had been shattered, blood vessels that had burst, muscles torn to their limits, none of it remained. It was as if I had never been hurt. I survived. In the end, I didn't die. I smiled bitterly and sat up. There was no pain. I felt as normal as ever except for a slight numbness on one side of my head. I strapped the sheathed sword lying next to the bed onto my belt and left the room. The living room of the first party's dorm was empty. I glanced at the clock. 2:45 p.m. Everyone was probably busy preparing for the post-battle party after clearing the boss stage. Back then, there had been quite a few survivors, about 20. What about now? I hadn't checked everyone, but death messages kept appearing even as I made my way to the temple. I stepped out into the square. Of course, there would be no party preparations now. The third-floor square was empty. Isel was fluttering her wings, moving a cart near the open storage room door. "Ah, Loki!" Isel, pushing the cart, approached me. "You woke up?" I was so surprised. "It's great you didn't die. Are you feeling okay?" "As you see," I nodded. "As long as you don't die, any wound can heal." "Is that a memento?" I looked into the cart. Inside were various items: clothing, letters, a teddy bear, a metal cup, sewing tools, books. "Yes, the master ordered me to store them." Isel scratched her head. "But only a few owners of these items are left. 8. The others can't enter the storage." "How many died?" 13. I clicked my tongue. More than half the raid team was gone. Naturally, there was no room for a party. "There are 8 who can enter the cemetery. The remaining 5? They were forgotten, leaving nothing behind. It couldn't be helped. The cemetery space was limited. Do you want to come? The door is open now." "Sure." I followed Isel. The entrance to the storage was in a secluded part of the square. I helped her push the cart inside. A unique scent filled the air. I'd smelled it before, familiar, yet strange. The scent of a columbarium. The interior was similar. Long wooden display cases lined up, each compartment holding a relic. How am I supposed to endure this? Someone's scream echoed. I turned. Kushasha was sitting, hunched over. "This isn't a death befitting a warrior. If it was going to be like this, I'm left alone. You guys..." "I hear mold at my eyes." Kushasha wiped her tears. "Is it you? How many survived?" "Just me. Everyone else died." I fell silent. "It's my fault. I couldn't lead my tribe properly. Those who trusted and followed me." Kushasha shook her head. "It's okay. I don't blame you. If it weren't for you, we would have been annihilated. I decided to entrust it to you. Please, I want to be alone." She sat quietly in front of her tribe's mementos. I turned away and moved to the next section. Edis, Velkist, and 2 others stood with their backs to me. There had been casualties in the second party. The always shy girl was nowhere to be seen. Was her name Liliana? Isel was storing sewing tools and a teddy bear in the upper compartment. They must have belonged to her. I watched for a moment and moved on. At the far left display case, in the corner, the first party members, except Katio, were gathered. "You woke up, Senior." Velkis turned, noticing me. His expression was calm as always. "The archer kid insisted on a memorial service. I wanted to train." Narissa kicked Velkist in the shin. "What are you doing? That hurts." "Insensitive jerk." Velkis crossed his arms. "Even if you're a senior, you're not a god. In battle, there are sacrifices. If we dwell on every one, there's no end. Becoming stronger is the way to honor the female mage. It only takes a day, just one day. We fought side by side, risking our lives, and they died protecting us. Can't we do at least this much?" "That's not what I meant," Velkis muttered. "Opa, come here. Sister would have been waiting too." "Dead people can't wait, ouch!" Narissa punched Velkist in the solar plexus. He staggered back. "This is painful." "This guy, you really can't help yourself." I passed by Velkist. At the end of the display case, Aloka's mementos were kept in a square glass. A fur coat, a luxurious scarf, a fancy fan. Things I had given her for her research. All in pristine condition. If I were a master, I could put the hero's lifetime videos and illustrations in the archive. But I was just a hero. It would be nice if we could go back to the 35th floor. Jenna sighed. She opened the display case and took out a white envelope. It's Sister's will. I thought you should read it first, so I kept it. Me? Of course. Sister would have wanted that. I silently opened the envelope. If I remember right, this will was written just before heading to the 20th floor. It was old, but that didn't matter. I started to open it, then paused. What a strange feeling. After realizing I was trapped in this world, I decided to not care about anyone's death, to never look back, just move forward. But now, well, I took out the letter, unfolded the crumpled paper, and read. Hey, is this really a will? I don't feel like writing a will. Quite the bad handwriting. The letters were scribbled as if hurriedly written. A will is for those who are going to die, right? It has nothing to do with me. I will definitely not die. I will absolutely return alive. So this is just a doodle. I'll write whatever I want. Anyway, no one will read it. Hey, Hannah's rat. Dog, jerk, mongrel, idiot, stupid, fool, die. I didn't like you from the first time I saw you. Why do you torment me like this? You bastard, I was pampered at home too. Always picking on me, making my life miserable, making me do research tasks. I will definitely get my revenge. You dared to underestimate me, Aloka, a genius mage? Malung, feel the wrath, peekaboo. Translator's note. Malung is a playful, teasing expression in Korean, often with someone sticking out their tongue to mock or tease. It doesn't have a direct English equivalent, but conveys cheekiness or playful taunting. Next to peekaboo, there was a drawing of a squashed circle sticking out its tongue. It seemed to be a face, but it was hard to recognize. Hey, please, be a bit nicer to me. I'm waiting. You idiot. You don't even understand people's feelings. The will ended there. I folded the letter. Did you finish? What does it say? Just some pointless doodles. I smiled and handed her the letter. As Jenna read, she began to sob, burying her head in the display case. Sis. I'm going ahead, I said quietly, and quickly left the storage. It hurt more than I thought, more than any pain I'd ever experienced. My head felt like it would burst. Izel. Oh. Izel appeared in a flash of light. Dead heroes. I stopped. Why am I asking? I already know. They can't be revived.
I, a top ranker of Pick-Me-Up, knew this best. They can be revived, Isel said, puffing out her chest. If you clear up to the 100th floor, a destroyed world will be reborn. Heroes live a new life there. They might lose their memories, though. Is that so? Yes, I heard it directly from the manager. Good. I waved my hand. Isel circled around me once, then disappeared into light. I hadn't known that. It was a fact I'd never learned. I closed my eyes. Master. I opened my eyes. The ring on my left hand was emitting a black light. Your net. I'm glad you're safe. Somehow. I've also awakened. I can feel it. You seem to have grown more than before. Indeed. I had succeeded in breaking through a crucial gateway, the limit. I smirked. Master. What? Why not return to Niflheim? I don't want to see you like this. Are you joking? Running away now? Don't ever say that again. I'm sorry. Your net's voice faded. I continued. Sorry, I'm not in a good mood. I understand. I've had those times too. I remembered. The 5 from Niflheim hadn't always been in the same party. Each had lost comrades in different parties before coming together. Master, I believe you will overcome this. Of course. What do you take me for? It's just a day's retreat. When tomorrow comes, when it's tomorrow, I will forget. No. I need to bury it. So deep in my heart that it never resurfaces. Nothing changes. I'll climb the tower. Yes, we look forward to the day Master conquers the tower. Good to know. Please have a peaceful rest. Your net's voice faded. I took a deep breath. After a while, welcome to Pick Me Up. Anything logged in. Loading completed. Touch select. Entering the main screen, anything immediately moved the waiting room's display. My seat was zoomed in. Then anything continued with the next operation. Gift shop. Purchasing Warhorse statue for 5,000 gold. Purchasing wreath for 3,000 gold. Huh? Beginning item synthesis. Selected materials. Warhorse statue, wreath, flower necklace. Finished item unknown. Proceed with synthesis. Yes. Clatter, clatter. Fairy power. Good. Synthesis complete. You've obtained Morning Warhorse statue. Gifting Morning Warhorse statue to hand 3 stars. A light flickered in front of me, and the Warhorse statue appeared. I caught it. The horse's head was adorned with a white wreath, and its neck was wrapped with a necklace of flowers. Morning Warhorse statue. Anything seemed to be watching my reaction, not moving the screen. I burst out laughing. The absurdity of it all, doing something like this. I stood up and placed the Morning Warhorse statue on the display stand. It stood out among the other statues. Mourning. Can you mourn the heroes within the game? As Loki, I couldn't. I treated the heroes who died during missions as expendables. Interesting. I rearranged the placement. Next to the central Morning Warhorse statue, the other statues seemed to be galloping. Playing storage records. Selected hero, Eloka, 3 stars. Eloka's illustration and status window appeared. She was smiling confidently as always. Anything watched that unchanged screen for a long time. Wait for me. It won't take long. Just a few more floors. Just up to the 100th floor. Just a brief moment of patience. As anything disconnected and night deepened, I watched her picture.
Chapter 147. The next evening, at the training ground of Party 1, I sat on a chair, my sword resting across my knee. In the center of the square room stood a practice steel dummy. No decorations, just a personal training space set up for me. There were no special training schedules today, and it seemed there wouldn't be any for a while. I came here simply to sort out my thoughts. The loss was significant. The raid on the 35th floor ended in success, but the process was frustratingly inadequate. The death of Elaraka, our only elementalist, was a tremendous blow. Party 3, which was expected to be a main pillar of our force, suffered near total annihilation. Most of the promising talents who had been growing through the 30th floor died meaninglessly. Only a few, including Kishasha from Party 3, remained. The damage was severe. Like it or not, replenishing and restructuring our forces would take considerable time. I scratched the back of my head. The expected period before the next tower climb was over a month. The more I thought about it, the more my headache grew. Elaraka's loss was one thing, but Party 3 was a bigger problem. According to Jenna, Kishasha had been holed up in Party 3's quarters, refusing to come out. Party 3 had once been a force comparable to ours, but their power was halved due to the penalty of an aquatic environment and several unfortunate mishaps. Even if we wanted to replenish their numbers, the chance of non-human races joining was extremely rare. It was essentially a total loss. I exhaled softly. There were a mountain of issues to resolve, but I decided to check and implement what I could, one step at a time. Click. I drew my sword from its sheath. The steel dummy before me was a fine item, crafted with care by the equipment workshop. I took my stance and swung my sword sideways. Crack. Sparks flew, and a dent formed in the middle of the dummy. But that was all. It didn't have the power to smash both water dragons and a golem at once like before. Ascend, and then Soul Blade Fusion. These were the 2 skills I acquired on the 35th floor. Ascend was a combination of frenzy and composure, along with invincibility and combat wrath, while Soul Blade Fusion combined the essence of Heavenly Sword Spirit and Power Strike. Both were unique skills, exclusive to me, and required careful analysis for efficient use. Ideally, I should have tested their performance through sparring or real combat. I glanced at the hologram window on my right, recalling the patch log from the last update. For the Master. Convenience update the first. Curious about the hero's skills? Stop flipping through guides. Skill window updated for easier, more convenient viewing. Viva! 1. From now on, detailed specs of skills will be provided. Touch the skill in the status window. And a convenience update. Now masters could understand the detailed effects of skills without searching through guide sites. Things had improved a lot. Back in my day, I had to figure out everything through trial and error. I felt the generational gap as I opened the status window. Han Israt, 3 stars. Level 34. EXP 280/340. Class Warrior. Strength 75/75. Intelligence 10/10. Stamina 68/68. Agility 66/66. Owned skills Intermediate Swordsmanship Level 4. Ascend Level 1. Soul Blade Fusion Level 1. Insight Level 6. Fire Resistance Level 3. Dragon Slayer Level 1. First, the skill window changed. Skills like horsemanship or underwater combat had disappeared into another tab. Now such skills were classified as auxiliary and could be viewed separately. I touched the text labeled Ascend and pressed the View Details tab. Ascend Level 1. Grade B+. Type Unique. Triggers the hero's body into Rampage, boosting combat power. However, it deducts the hero's vitality proportional to the power boost. Death can occur at its maximum. Attributes: immunity to status effects. Combat Wrath. Remarks: Han Israt 3 stars exclusive skill. The descriptions were grim. Both skills could lead to death if misused. However, their power was undeniable. Having experienced them firsthand, I couldn't deny their effectiveness. Unique skills: the concept and identity of each hero. They could be obtained through breakthroughs and possess several times the potential of ordinary skills. Training the hero was the part I paid the most attention to. Stats were foundational, but ultimately, the hero's final performance depended on how the skills synergized. I corrected my posture, lowering my stance. The basic form. I moved my hands, keeping my legs and waist flexible. At the same time, I flipped the switch in my mind as if using frenzy. Activate. Han 3 stars has entered Ascend state. Crunch. A feeling of bones misaligning followed by intense pain wrapped around my body. A sensation of being torn apart. I could feel the risk of Ascend even before seeing the status window. Ugh. I staggered and deactivated Ascend. My entire body felt like it was on fire. It's a skill that consumes vitality. It couldn't be maintained for long. On the 35th floor, the aftermath of awakening somehow worked out, but it won't be easy next time. Every use was a gamble with my life. I massaged my tingling wrist. 10 seconds at most. Any longer would put my life in danger. Although it was a continuous skill, I could only use it temporarily as I am now. I collapsed into the chair, contemplating how to utilize it. The final phase of a mission would be the right time to activate Ascend, then move on to Soul Blade Fusion, a sort of finishing move, to be used when certain of victory. This was practically a self-destruct skill. I knew similar skills would appear, but I didn't expect them to be this intense. I stood up again. More precise calculations were needed. Once more. Han 3 stars has entered Ascend state. A cold fire wrapped around my entire body. I clenched my teeth until they bled, preparing for the next move. Gripping the sword handle as if it would break, I maintained my composure and swung the sword. Boom! With the sound of an explosion, the steel dummy before me vanished without a trace. Not satisfied with breaking steel, a deep sword mark was etched into the metal wall behind it. I tossed my sword aside and collapsed in a sprawl. Sigh. Troublesome. I felt dizzy. The skill's power was excellent, but this method didn't allow it for its full potential to be utilized. In the end, I need to get stronger to withstand the backlash. My body had already entered the realm of superhumans, but it was still insufficient. I needed a skill that significantly increased my vitality. I had to subject my body to extreme stress. Pain tolerance training seemed trivial by comparison. I got up, planning tomorrow's schedule. Loki, I have news! Whoa! Isel appeared beside me screaming, "Why are you covered in blood? And why is the room such a mess again?" "Training? What kind of training leads to this? This isn't the first time you've seen me like this. What's up?" I casually tidied up the room and sheathed my sword. Isel coughed a few times before looking at me. "Did I say that? I remember clearly. So, I've been watching MyTube daily with my eagle's eye. Did anything upload a video?" Isel nodded. "He did upload, except for the 35th floor." "He left out the 35th floor?" "Yes, he downloaded it, but anything began recording videos from the 15th floor. That means he uploaded videos of the 15th and 20th floors, but skipped the 35th. It would have been a massive hit given the intensity. Anyway, I'll show you." Isel gestured in the circle with her arm. Fairy power. A light gathered in the right side of my vision, conjuring an internet window. A red rectangle with a play triangle, the icon of MyTube. I navigated to anything's channel using the cursor. Sure enough, new photos and videos had been uploaded. I tapped the first video. Han Ishrat, conquering the 15th and 20th floors. The video was nothing special. It showed the conquest of the 15th and 20th floors. The views were quite high, over 300,000. I scrolled through the comments with an indifferent expression. Comments, 1,143. Sleek shooter. The more I watch, the better this hero seems to perform. Not incredibly strong, but seems to understand the rules well. Looks risky, but ends up clearing easily. Enjoyed watching. Reply, troll picker. Not incredibly strong? How strong does one need to be? To my eyes, he's at least 4 stars. Reply, Kaizen999. Have you never seen a real monster? Go watch Loki's videos. Ceres alone decimates everything. Reply, Loki hides power. That's because Loki raised them well. Even Ceres looked mediocre in the initial videos, but this one performs like this from low levels. Surely a hidden gem. Reply, Ceres fan. I want to lick Ceres's armpits. Lick, lick. Max Smash. No video for the 35th floor? I bet it was a smashing success too. Hurry up and upload it. Reply, candy in your ears. Hasn't it been quite a while since they uploaded floor 30? Did his party get annihilated or something? Reply, bushead smasher. That's possible. This person only knows how to ride the bus and does nothing else. Even if the hero performs well, there's a limit to it. Is this even a game? Some grind all day and their hero is so weak they're stuck on floor 20. Meanwhile, someone else gets lucky and climbs with just one hero. Is this even a fair game? When will Mobius go bankrupt? Agree. It's fun, but the balance is trash. If I had drawn that character, I'd have reached floor 50 by now. Is this even a game? Unity Guild. Recruiting elite clan members to control server 2. For more details. Such a waste of a hero. Picked the wrong master. I'd be too embarrassed to upload if it were me. He doesn't even have Tactical Center yet. Just watching. Do something, man. If you can't handle it, sell it or something. I'll buy it for a high price. I scrolled down through the comments. The reactions could be condensed into 3 main points. Hurry up and upload the next video, really lucky, and such a waste of a hero. Towards the latter part of the comments, the majority opinion was that the hero was too good for his master. What are you doing in the back? Why wave those useless light sticks? Why take screenshots? After a few passionate instigations, the comment section became nearly toxic with personal attacks. Stupid people. They're jealous. They're jealous because they don't have a hero like Loki. Isel puffed up her cheeks. Was the ID Lollipop? Though it was a hard-hitting truth bomb, the purpose behind posting the comment seemed somewhat petty. Doing nothing in the back? It wasn't incorrect. While a master couldn't directly intervene in missions, they could influence things in other ways. Tactical Center, a facility through which a master could get involved in missions. But this was a double-edged sword. I've seen dozens of masters who knew nothing try to meddle and lead their parties to annihilation. That's why I'd refrained from saying anything to anything until now. But after failing on floor 35, my thoughts had also started to change. I closed the internet window. Welcome to Pick Me Up. At the same time, anything logged in. Loading completed. Touch select. Right after connecting, anything went straight to the Facilities tab. Exceptionally quick touch. His emotional state was palpable. Constructing a facility. Please touch the type of facility you desire. Tactical Center Level 1 selected. Would you like to build this? Yes. Anything touched yes without hesitation. Got mad because they called you useless? I smirked.
Chapter 148. The entire square began to tremble, a sign that a new facility was being constructed. Arms crossed, I waited for its completion. Shortly after, a message appeared. The tactical base has been completed. The Tactics tab will now be available. Master, from now on you can use Tactics. Tips: Tactics can be used in a limited manner within missions. Notice: about Tactics. Activate Tactics by touching the Tactics button at the bottom of the screen. You can give specific signals to your heroes. I glanced to the right. Inside the waiting room, a new facility had appeared. A small room with a miniature table and a map. It was the tactical base. Anything was reading the help guide, but it was complicated and hard to grasp all at once. I'm not sure how this will go. Tactics can be a godsend, deciding the success of a mission if used correctly and at the right moment. But that's only if you use them well. Among all pick-me-up players, few masters can properly utilize tactics. It depends on whether you can grasp the flow of battle, what's dangerous, what's needed. If you don't, it's just a pearl necklace on a pig. At best, you might only throw your party into disarray. Most masters are so used to blankly staring at the screen that they fail to grasp the essence of the mission. These days, the trend is to leave the tactical base unused and entrust strategy to the heroes. I recalled the situation on the 35th floor. One party fought the boss underwater, while another repelled a monster wave on the boat. Then an accident happened. At that time, Adis couldn't command properly. A hero's vision is limited compared to a master's, likely too preoccupied with blocking the monsters in front. If there had been a tactical base then, and if I had been the master, things would have been different. Once the mission starts in earnest, tactics are greatly limited. At best, you might be able to display an arrow or a gathering indication, but even just giving a retreat signal could have greatly reduced the sacrifices. If only I had realized it sooner. Something might have changed. We might not have lost. I tried to take on everything in the mission by myself. We could have quickly retrieved the non-combatants. Then Eluka... I shook my head. It was already over. Tactical base, huh? What a useless thing to make. Are you trying to cause trouble? Isel grumbled, looking at the screen. She didn't seem to like anything's actions. Why so? You said you would do it. The master just watches from above. What would you know about the field? I used to think the same way. It's different with Loki. Tactics should only be used by Loki. A sparrow trying to follow a phoenix will only tear its growing. Just leave it to Loki to figure it out. Sorry, but I've changed my mind. A bit. Huh? I stood up from my chair. Ignoring Isel, who stared at me blankly, I left the personal training room. Clang, clang, clang. In the sparring area, Velkist and Nerissa were crossing swords fiercely. Both were bleeding, but didn't care. The fight was intense enough to be called a real battle. I glanced over briefly before stepping out into the square. The door to the tactical base was installed on the left side of the rift of space. I walked down the stairs and entered the facility. Inside, a circular table with a white map was set up. I sat down in the chair in front of the table. Let's test your skill level. I flicked my finger. Master, Han, 3 stars, proposes a mock battle. Would you like to accept? Yes? No. A mock battle, a kind of minigame available after installing the tactical base. There are 2 players. Each plays as heroes and monsters respectively. The mission and flow are similar, and through mock battles, you can check and train your tactical skills. After a moment of contemplation, anything selected yes. Boom. Starting the mock battle. Type 1 vs 1. Battle against artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, huh? I smirked and prepared for the game. Now loading. Configuring the map. The map on the table changed. A square model field appeared, with black and white pieces on both sides. Black pieces were monsters, white pieces were heroes. The rules were simple. The monster side aims to destroy the stronghold, and the hero side defends it. But monsters and heroes are moved by AI. The player can only make a few signals before and after starting the game. Field configuration complete. Master, you are heroes. The mock battle will start shortly. Get ready. 60 seconds to game start. The map was ready. Next to it were a red pen and a blue pen, tools for tactics. I examined the map. The stronghold was in the center. There was an object on the left side. The monster formation started from the bottom of the field. Unlike when I was a master, it was analog, but still a familiar method. For the first game, I decided to use basic tactics, dividing the forces in half and deploying them to the object and the stronghold. I divided the black pieces on the map, circled them, and drew arrows to indicate the direction of the troops. This minigame could get deep if you delve into it. The type of field is random. The effect of the object is also random. Each troop is divided into 3 professions, each with different abilities. There are numerous variables, and since professions, formations, and strategies counter each other, there are masters who focus solely on mock battles. Consider it an honor. You're the only one receiving a one-on-one lesson from the champion of the International Mock Battle League. I started placing the pieces with a smirk. 10 seconds until the game start. Get ready. The placement was finished. I waited for the start with my hands off. Game start. Thud. The black pieces on the map wobbled and then started moving on their own. The monster-shaped pieces advanced as I had directed. And 10 minutes later, the first game ended. This is quite surprising. I set up for the next game. This time, I changed the strategy. All in, ignoring the object and cramming all forces into the stronghold. It's a gamble, but if you're clever, it's easy to catch your opponent off guard. Another 10 minutes passed. I set up for the next game. Again, I changed the strategy. Game over. And the result was in. I crossed my arms and looked to the right. Anything was staring hard at the win-loss screen. 3 rounds of mock battles. This guy is unbelievably, really. First game, anything didn't move from the stronghold. I easily took the object, then used the buff to breach the defense of the stronghold. Second game, anything sent all forces to the object. It didn't take 30 seconds. I entered anything's stronghold without shedding blood. Third game, I did nothing. I just watched. I left the game to AI. Yet, anything lost. This guy. What? Astounding. Innate game sense. It's the first time I've seen a master worse than automated progression. I didn't even use any complicated techniques. After all, it's just a practice game. I chose strategies that one could easily counter after seeing them once.
Did you stuff doll eyes in your head? Having watched the mission videos tens of times, one would expect to get a feel for it. I clicked my tongue and folded the map. That's what I said, Isel appeared, spinning and snorting. Racing games seem to be his forte, dumb in other areas. I told you Loki should take full responsibility for the missions. I sighed. An unexpected hurdle. Meanwhile, Anything was waiting on the main screen, not performing any operations, waiting for me to propose the next game. After about 5 minutes, Anything moved the control window. Master proposed a mock battle to Han 3 stars. Isel stared blankly at me. I shook my head. Han 3 stars has declined the mock battle. After closing the rejection window, Anything tried again. Master proposed a mock battle to Han 3 stars. Han 3 stars has declined the mock battle. Anything moved again after pondering. Gift shop. Purchasing Warhorse statue for 5,000 gold. Gifting Warhorse statue to Han 3 stars. Pop. A Warhorse statue appeared on the table. Thinking I would be swayed by such a shallow trick, I'll play just one game. I pocketed the statue and flicked my finger. Badoom. Starting the mock battle. Type 1 vs 1, battle against artificial intelligence. And gifting Warhorse statue to Han 3 stars. Badoom. Starting the mock battle. Gifting Warhorse statue. On the table, numerous Warhorse statues were lined up, a total of 10. Hey, this is a bit harsh. Iselle scratched her cheek. Iselle, who had been blaming the master up until the third game, began to feel sympathy as the game passed 7 rounds, even cheering for a single win. Anything was waiting at the control window. After 10 straight defeats, he did not attempt a rematch. Master, would you like to disconnect? Yes. Then farewell. After a while, anything disconnected. Iselle, resting her chin in her hands, said, "What's the problem? Lack of talent?" Who knows? 13 rounds. I reviewed anything's play records. There's at least a will to learn, given the gold spent on retries. The minimum condition was met. It's just that the results didn't follow. Strange. Even if he's talentless, watching the mission videos should have led to some realization. But when facing anything, it felt like I was up against a complete novice. Iselle. Show me the mission videos the master uploaded again. Iselle blinked, but obediently complied. Videos from the 5th to the 30th quickly played in front of me. So, Loki, do you see anything? I closed the window. After watching up to the 30th floor, it was clear. This kid was only watching me. Up to the 10th floor, the camera would rotate to check on other party members, but from the 15th floor onward, the focus was on me. It only briefly shifted when an important object appeared. The master's focus, which should have been on the entire flow of the mission, was directed solely on me. No wonder the timing for taking screenshots was lightning fast. Having watched from the start, there was no way to miss it. Other members were left out in the cold. At best, he would occasionally glance at a member of the first party. No wonder there's no improvement. Anything had developed bad habits. But my failure to recognize this beforehand was also at fault. I looked up at the dark sky. Somehow, I could sense what anything was feeling right now. Disheartened by the lack of results. Wanting to be helpful. Perhaps he felt something while watching the 35th floor. I smiled and leaned back in the chair. Iselle, can I ask you one more favor? I want to use the internet. The internet? I want to send an email. I took out a notebook and began to write down letters detailing the flow of battles from the 5th to the 30th floor. Compared to the strategy documents I sent, even a brain filled with noodles could easily understand. Right now, I'm not asking for much. When I can't look after the party, when the entire raid is in crisis, I need you to have the ability to help once. I'll just claim I'm a channel subscriber. Well, even if there was no talent, I was planning to force it through him. If not 10 times, then 100 times. If that doesn't work, 1,000 times more, until it's hammered into his head. I said I'd make you the best. After all, it was work that needed to be done. I wrote down the letters in the notebook with a smile.
Chapter 149. Several days passed. Anything, who had received my advice, did not send a response. However, it was clear his attitude had changed. According to Iselle, he had repeatedly watched the mission videos on his phone's records. He had started to study on his own. He now had the desire to improve. He no longer played mindlessly. This meant he had met the basic requirements to become a ranker. Many masters questioned why studying was necessary for gaming, but it was essential. Although anything wouldn't see immediate results, he would improve over time. Satisfied with this, I devoted myself to training. At the daytime training center, Jenna looked troubled. She was holding a whip with thorns. "It's too harsh. I think it's okay to ease up," she said. "I don't want to waste time." "Even so." Jenna's expression darkened. In the training center's sparring ground, I was catching my breath, my upper body bare. Next to me was a bathtub filled with a red liquid, dozens of bottles of healing potions poured in. To make me do this to my oppa. There's no one else but you. You're used to shooting arrows at vital points, but now you fuss over a few whiplashes? But this is the best way. I don't want to repeat the experience of level 35. There were weaker methods, but they took longer and were less efficient. I had no intention of choosing them anymore. Reluctantly, Jenna nodded. Hit with full strength. I'll know if you hold back. Understood. I turned my back to Jenna and bit down on a gag. The pain was real. I recalled the whip's appearance, made from animal tendons, with thorns at the end designed to tear flesh and muscle. It was closer to a torture tool than a weapon. It's okay. The pain was unbearable. However, I did not want to feel the same emotion as before ever again. I reminded myself once more. Here I go. The whip tore through the air. Crack. Stars burst before my eyes. Damn it! The whip tore through the skin and muscles on my back, digging deep inside. I bit down on the gag. I could still endure it. Covered in blood with just one hit. Effective indeed. I caught my breath. Hesitant at first, Jenna moved her hand again. Shoosh. The second strike. My entire back felt as if it were on fire. It felt as though my skin had been completely peeled off. It hurts more than I thought. Sweat blurred my vision. I gestured with my eyes, a signal to continue. The whipping continued. 3, 5, 9 times. I gathered my fading consciousness. It was just a preparation process. 9. One more. That's enough. Why go this far? I looked back. Beyond the metal wall, my bloodied back was visible. Looks like it even reached the bones. I immediately entered the adjacent bathtub. The potion began to seep into the wounds. Ugh! This time, I couldn't endure it. Spitting out the gag, blood flowed from my mouth. Are you okay? Of course, just one set. I had to go through at least 13 sets a day. If done correctly, I would gain great endurance and recovery ability. The time for mere sandbags had passed. Now training intensity suitable for a superhuman physique was needed. Next, whoosh, a log hung from steel ropes was swinging back and forth, shaken by a mechanical device. 1, 2. I timed it and squeezed between the logs. A giant log, meters in length, approached head-on. I lowered my body and swung my wooden sword. Bang! It felt like hitting a truck. The actual impact was probably no less. I endured. I added strength to my hands. Trying to maintain balance, my feet slipped. The log that pushed me started swinging back and forth again. What kind of training is that? Velkist, who had been watching, spoke. I looked down at my grip. Blood flowed from a torn spot. It's to build resistance, training to block the logs with a wooden sword rather than breaking them. To my eyes, it seems nothing short of madness. It might seem that way now. I had to let a shockwave of several tons pass through my body. I could smash it head-on and destroy it, like annihilating a ballista, but that would defeat the purpose of the training. It was all about sensing and skill. Either way, it takes a long time. The phase of immediately recruiting heroes had over. Recovering the power lost at level 35 would take time, whether through paid or free draws. I had to refine missions while raising levels and skills to the appropriate level. Is it time to move on to the next phase? Anything must be feeling it by now. The need for a more systematic structure had arisen. It was time to flesh out the operations. Well, that too would ultimately require time. I planned to continue my personal training until anything made a decision. Reforming the attack party and creating a new system would all be futile without the master's will. Don't make me wait too long. I gripped the wooden sword tightly and leapt up in front of the log. Sometime later, skill awakening. Han, 3 stars, has acquired regeneration, level 1. After repeatedly enduring torture, I finally acquired the desired skill. Regeneration, as the name implies, it was a skill that enhanced the body's natural healing abilities. However, since it had little correlation with physical endurance, I did not stop. Every evening I served as a sparring partner for anything. Several days passed, and anything's skills had improved to beginner level. Although not exceptionally talented, his enthusiasm was evident. He seemed to be studying hard. A few more days passed. Master. Yurnet's voice tickled my ears. It was late evening. I was organizing documents at my desk. I apologize if you were sleeping. I was doing some chores. It seems we haven't been in touch much lately. I've had quite a lot to do. I had been postponing matters related to Niflheim. I put the documents in the drawer and locked it. What's up? You wouldn't call just to say hi? Nothing. Just had something in my throat. Yurnet coughed and then continued. I have something to report to the master. It's a significant issue, so I've determined it cannot be decided upon unilaterally. A significant issue, huh? I leaned back in my chair. Something that even Yurnet, the current submaster, couldn't decide on. There was only one thing that came to mind. Is it about the Union Guild? Indeed, Master, you've hit the nail on the head. Save the buttered-up compliments. If there's something to tell, then tell it. There are rumors that the Union Guild's forces are gathering in one place. And the investigation results? It's true. Hundreds of airships are gathering from across the server.
I smirked. There weren't any world raids happening, yet they were gathering forces now out of the blue. Obvious enough. Master, these bastards, a scheme by members of the Union Guild has been confirmed. I see. Among the comments on a video uploaded by anything, there was something that stood out. It was about recruiting reserve members for the Union Guild. It had been left unchecked amidst indifference. It's a bit different. Different how? Take a look. A window popped up in my view. A play button on a red rectangle. The YouTube icon. But the background was slightly different. This is my channel, isn't it? It was Loki's channel, boasting about 5 million subscribers. The last video update was 6 months ago. The screen changed to the most recent video clip. The comments were zoomed in. Unity 7, a week ago. Lol, are there still losers who fanboy this has-been? Likes 42, dislikes 113. Gulp gulp yum, 3 hours ago. Pretending to be a pro, but this guy also heavily pays to win. It's all an act, not skill, just luck. Just got lucky with hero draws and ended up like this. Likes 52, dislikes 175. Replies 32. Long live brother, 3 hours ago. If you're going to pay to win, at least do it with flair like our bro. This one's just a loser, right? Likes 11, dislikes 35. 2 days ago. No noob. Likes 32, dislikes 93. Cyrenoi, a week ago. Suddenly all these screw-loose losers are popping off. You guys have an inferiority complex? Why mess with Lord Loki like this? Likes 352, dislikes 58. Hundreds of comments were spammed with similar content. Almost identical, just the usernames changed. Believable organizational power, even if they hired comment bots. I scrolled down, then closed the window. Comments like these have been simultaneously spammed on the videos you posted, Master. I laughed. What a cute act. The exact timing was a week ago Earth time, after the Bart's Alliance was crushed. The Bart's Alliance was formed to oppose the Union Guild's rampant looting activities. Seems they couldn't last even a week. But that's not the important part. Yurnet spoke in a stern tone. We need you, Master. Really? Yes. If Master were in Niflheim. Are you saying Niflheim will lose to these guys? Yurnet coughed awkwardly. If Master were present, our losses would be minimized. That's what it means. Handle it yourself. I didn't set it up to be so weak. When were you ever going to forget? Nothing. Do I really need to be in Niflheim? Not really. Niflheim's operation system was already complete, except in emergencies. But there's never been such a case, so who knows? I've always been waging wars with missions. PvP was just a side thing. Handle it appropriately. Inform me once it's over. Master, even if I ask like this, won't you consider... Why are you asking for that? I can't remember Master's face. I sighed. Tell me clearly, why do I need to be there?
I don't have command over Niflheim's first party. Are you saying you want to gather the first party? Yes. I stroked my chin. The goal of the Union Guild was clear enough without having to see it. According to reports, they hadn't touched any other rankers, just me. I knew they'd come, faster than I expected. What could a low-level do in a high-level fight zone? Understood, I replied. Yornet continued with a brighter voice. I've sent a dispatch request to the Master of Taunia. They'll understand. The airship will arrive in 2 days. Please take care of yourself until then. Call back everyone. Don't let anyone get killed for no reason, and it would be good to have detailed power and combat data on them. As you command. Before ending the communication, Yornet said, "Thank you for granting my request." What are you talking about? I had promised to help. I was just joking. There was no way I could refuse. Maybe now is the best time, a rest period to replenish forces. It was okay to be away for a while. I looked at the ring on my left hand. A black sheen flowed along the surface of the ring. Yornet had said that this, a gift from her, was proof of being the owner of Niflheim. I guess I should repay the favor received. Is it war then? Niflheim never runs from a fight. We have always fought head-on, whoever it is. There were numerous challenges, a very large guild with hundreds of members, then a guild alliance from another server. Even a ranker like me tried to conquer Niflheim, but no one succeeded. 129 wins out of 129. This was the 130th time. I got up from my seat.
Chapter 150. The Next Evening. Welcome to Pick Me Up. Loading is complete. Touch Select. The sky brightened. As always, anything logged in. However, there was an unfamiliar message below. Ding! Master, you have one unidentified mail. Would you like to check? Anything touched yes. Title: Additional Training Notification. Sender: Loki Niflheimheimer. We are contacting the masters of every top student of each training batch about our additional service. In this course, we plan to supplement the unfinished training, and your hero, Han Israt, has been specially selected due to his excellent performance. It was a dispatch request sent by Yornet. I don't talk in such a stiff tone. I watched the situation with a smile. The author requests the dispatch of the hero Han, 3 stars. Do you accept? Yes, no. Anything did not press accept. The additional training service for top performers. He must have had many concerns. It's obviously a lie. What's the point of doing something that doesn't benefit me? Anyway, anything froze for several minutes with the mail displayed. Unable to watch anymore, I stepped in. Master, the hero Han, 3 stars, requests to accept the dispatch. Anything's deliberation lasted for an hour. Do you accept the dispatch? Yes. Eventually, Anything accepted the dispatch. For him, Loki was no different from a benefactor who sent valuable strategy documents and numerous pieces of advice. It would not be easy to refuse. There's no need to refuse when they say they'll nurture you. He might wonder why. He wouldn't know until he finished the game. As soon as the decision was made, I gathered the members and announced the news, that I would be away from the waiting room for a while because of the dispatch. Jenna spoke first. How long will it take? It won't take long. I'll be back in a week. I didn't plan for a long battle. Jenna's face brightened. You're off and away. Who am I going to fight when the senior is gone? Also, what's good about that place? It's a wonderful place. There's a lot to learn. Jenna continued with a regretful tone. I wanted to go to the additional training too. There's nothing special. Behave yourself while I'm gone. It'll get busy again when I return. I'm already busy. I'll become stronger too. I finished exchanging words with each member and then informed Edis as well. I couldn't meet Kashasha. I only saw the empty scenery of the forest that once served as the lodging for the third party. I'll have to think about what to do with that girl. That would be after I return. I packed my things. It was just bringing casual clothes, leather armor, and a sidearm. I probably wouldn't need to use any weapons. Master, are you ready? Early the next morning, Yornet contacted me again. It's done.
There's nothing much to prepare. I'm looking forward to it. Just wait until tomorrow. She called because she needed me. I couldn't think of it as anything but a forced invitation for a good excuse. After receiving the report on the Union Guild's power, my suspicions only got bigger. It's to minimize damage, Master. There are no other intentions. All right, I get it. Have a peaceful night. Uranet's communication was cut off. I looked down at the desk, papers where I had transcribed Uranet's reported contents. Detailed powers of the Union Guild were meticulously written down, from the number of hidden factories to the class of ships, the number of elite heroes, noteworthy aces, and the main tactics used. There's one strange thing. I pointed to the very bottom of the paper with a pen. Among the heroes affiliated with the Union Guild, there's one exceptionally outstanding one, the submaster of the Union Guild's leader, the top commander on the hero's side. This hero infiltrated the core of the Bart's Alliance alone and wiped out its leadership. Mocking the escort forces of dozens, in essence, the Bart's Alliance, which once opposed the Union Guild, was annihilated by a single hero. According to survivors, a candidate for 7 stars. Well, it was a common story. Even with the same grade and level, there can be a world of difference in a hero's specs depending on their training. Cirrus was also under suspicion of being a 7-star. I briefly memorized the information and organized the documents. The details will be checked on site, and then I'll decide how to respond. Anyway, we will win, as always. The next afternoon, while I was reviewing the report once more, a message popped up with a sound effect. A flying ship from Niflheimheimer, Landgrid 07, requests to dock. Automatically accepted. Opening a rift in dimensions. Anything is not logged in. Due to yesterday's dispatch acceptance, the opening of the rift in dimensions was automatically opened. Landgrid 07, the model that transported me to Niflheimheimer the first time. I finished preparing and left the dormitory. After greeting the members who came to see me off, I went down to the second floor where the rift in dimensions was located. Loki! I turned back. Isella was rushing towards me breathlessly. Are you really going? I forgot to tell you. To Niflheimheimer? Are you not coming back? Are you leaving me and going? Don't make a fuss. I'll be back soon. But Isella looked sad. I placed my hand on her head. I'll be back. Take care. I entered the rift in dimensions. On one side of the airfield, a flying ship was waiting for me. Click, click. The stairs came down. I climbed the stairs and set foot on the deck. Oh, long time no see. A girl in a black uniform saluted me. Her name is Lytle. She was the same exclusive magician of the flying ship that had transported me before. I'm sorry for not recognizing you last time, Master. Lytle apologized in a lispy voice. Uranet must have revealed my identity to her. Well, it doesn't matter. I smiled wryly. Shall we depart? I'll do as you wish, yes. Vroom. Landgrid 07 gently lifted into the air and began to approach the whirlwind of dimensions. Master, the dispatch begins. Dispatched hero, Han, 3 stars. Region, Niflheim 101. Duration, undetermined. Ding. Landgrid 07 from Niflheimheimer set sail. A message announcing the departure appeared. I entered the ship and found a suitable room. I thought of taking a short break. I hadn't slept much the previous day analyzing the report. I'll arrive by dawn today. Dimension leap initiate. Ignoring Lytle's guidance, I closed my eyes. How many hours had I slept? Thud. I opened my eyes. Boom! With a loud noise, the hammock shook violently. I looked out the window. The sky had darkened. It seemed like night had fallen. But what's this vibration? It didn't seem to be the after effect of the dimension leap. I dressed in armor and armed myself before heading outside. As I emerged onto the deck, the situation became clear. Lytle was gritting her teeth, waving her hands. Bright strands of magic power were bursting from her entire body. She was using magic. What's happening? Well, that's, oh, I see.
I looked to the side of the railing. A giant purple hull caught my eye. The metallic surface was decorated with dragons and swords, intertwining and wriggling with the logo of the Union Guild engraved on it. That was quick. Bang! The heat from the cannon hit Landgrid 07's protective barrier, a blind attack. Since Niflheimer's mark was visible, it would be easy to distinguish. It seemed like we were intercepted on our way from Townia to Niflheimer. Landgrid 07 quickly advanced, widening the distance, but the pursuing flying ship followed. "You guys are from Niflheimer, right? Rankers acting all high and mighty, you arrogant bastards." A man's gruff voice echoed. Lydell looked distressed. "I'm sorry, I didn't expect this. What should we do? This isn't a combat ship, and we don't have weapons." I looked around the deck. It seemed there were no crew members except for Lydell. Moreover, a sorceress is a purely auxiliary class. She practically had no combat power. From now on, those bearing the black goat mark won't move in peace. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Why are you apologizing so much?" "But to put you in danger." While Lydell apologized, the flying ship's cannons fired. A decisive blow. With a sound of breaking glass, Landgrid 07 staggered, and the protective barrier shattered. "Ha ha ha! I'll kill you all!" "I'll buy us some time." Lydell, with a determined expression, held her staff. At the same time, flash. Several figures appeared on the deck. It was an infiltration by teleportation magic. This is bad. Trouble from the very beginning. A man with a grim face licked his blade. Then a man with a frivolous look drew his dagger. Only 2 of them. Lucky. "Hee hee, I'll make you regret being born." I assessed them one by one. There were 8 in total. They didn't seem very strong, though they would likely be much higher level than me. "Can you use fortification magic?" "Yes, that's possible." "Good." I reached for my sword sheath. "Oi oi, do we look this weak? You're only level 34 and you want to fight us?" "Hee hee, you don't know your place. I'm level 50. I'll slice your limbs into pieces." "There's a magician over there." They caught on to my status. Still, it was kind of them to reveal their own level. "I'll decorate my room with your skull." Ascend. Han 3 stars enters ascend state. Crack. The head of the man who was babbling vanished. Before the recoil of the skill hit, I shouted, "Lydell, use fortification magic." "Understood." Strands of magic power wrapped around my entire body. The imbalance in my body settled down. I should be able to hold out for 30 seconds. Feeling explosive power, I swung my sword at the next target. Then, "You little bastard," bang! The blades collided. However, it only pushed him back without killing him. The man momentarily looked shocked, then his eyes filled with killing intent. "You a mere lowbie, you are dangerous." He's about level 70. As expected, it was no good. Even if I managed to deal with a level 50 due to a moment of carelessness, the basic spec difference was vast. I bitterly smiled and deactivated Ascend. Lydell panicked. "What should we do?" "I'm not sure. Maybe I should buy us some time." I shook my head. The enemy started to approach. "I'll send both of your heads to Niflheimer." "Whatever. I'll kill you first." The man stomped his foot. His figure blurred, and the distance of a few meters closed instantly. Indeed, he was high level. "To die?" Suddenly, lightning struck out of the blue. The lightning struck the man charging at me, and at the spot a golden flash erupted. The enemy's expressions froze in an instant. Rumble. A second lightning bolt struck. Lightning took on the shape of a person, a black uniform covering the entire body, long platinum hair from which electricity sparked. A youthful face with a mischievous smile was directed at the enemy. Who are you?" "At the speed of light." The girl smiled broadly. "Ever get hit at the speed of light?" "What?" "Ultra-fast Ziri punch." Crack! Lightning flashed and 7 bodies disappeared.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.